Who is the worst band you've ever seen live and why? Not so much a band, but old dirty bastard got up on stage, starting saying YEA 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 into the mic, then just said I'm too fricked up to do this, and sat there for a while. I appreciate his honesty. I saw Alien and Farm opening for Sevendust and System of a Down in 2002, right when Smooth Criminal was popular. They played that freaking song 3 times, and the last time they played it the front man saw a guy in the front row and asked him what, you're not having fun, and then for some stupid reason held the mic down to him so we could all hear the guy reply freaking no, play a different freaking song or bring out Sevendust. Alien and Farm is the second worst live band I've ever seen. They played Warped to a 30-minute set, and of course everyone was waiting for Smooth Criminal. When they finally played it at the end, the guy just held his microphone out to the crowd for literally 90% of the song. Pitbull was hired to headline the college I attended's annual music festival. He got there late, got on stage to do Black Eyed Peas karaoke, and just scream random Spanish words and yell a lot. It was dreadful. The crowd started piling out about 25 minutes into it, and the third Black Eyed Peas cover. The mental image I have if this is amazing. Best, the Pugs. Worst, the Pugs. Depends on how drunk he is. I once saw Kesha play at a fair. She meowed all of the lyrics of TikTok. I would watch that. I saw Guns N' Roses in 2006. I was 16 and full of excitement for my first festival. AXL Rose ruined my whole weekend with his nonsense. No one gives a frick about listening to a 25-minute piano solo by your friend AXL just so you can go and change one hideous outfit for another. There were riots after their set. The main stage was burnt down and I spent the night in fear of loud, angry shouting men and police. My tent offered me minimal protection. Frick AXL Rose. Saw them in 1988 when they really were the most dangerous band in the WRLD. Amazon. Saw them in 1992. Even by then, with the original members, they had become very dull. This is both the worst and best performance I've ever seen. Vanilla Ice at the Gathering of the Juggalos in Toledo, Ohio. He knew exactly what he was getting into by signing on to do it and only played stuff from his new metal album. About 60-70% of the crowd either left, sat down, or turned their backs to him. You could hear individual people yelling to him to play Ice Ice Baby and Ninja Rap. After about 20 minutes of this he took the mic, and between the boos said let's kick it, and the intro to Ice Ice Baby started up. I've never seen a crowd of people turn from pure hate to pure joy in a fraction of a second like that before. He went on to sing Ice Ice Baby, Ninja Rap, and another one of his classics. Worst and best opening act ever. Lost Prophets. They were bottled off stage when they were supporting Metallica. If I knew then what I knew now I'd have thrown a full bottle at Ian Watkins myself. It kills me to see what he actually was. Start Something was the album I listened to in high school and I still love it but just can't bring myself to listen to it anymore. Elton John. At first it started out great, then he had a few minor technical issues, and threw a hissy fit on stage. Billy Joel was also performing, and he saved the show. Started joking about the problem, jumped from one piano to another, at age 60 something, and started fixing the technical problems, all while performing the rest of Elton John's song, and all while Elton John sat off to the side swearing at his tech crew, refusing to play. Favorite moment of the night? Billy Joel screaming hey, at least you know we are, and fricking lip syncing. I saw Billy Joel and Elton John play together a few years back as well. I'd have to agree that Elton John was just not great, no energy, didn't interact with the audience, and seemed kind of annoyed at the presence of Billy. On the other hand, Billy Joel more than made up for it with his tremendous stage presence. One of my favorite live performances to date. I saw Lil Wayne at Voodoo Fest in New Orleans, his hometown, a few years ago. He showed up on stage 45 minutes late. He was hammered. He played guitar, meaning that he incoherently tried to play and they either cinched a pre-recorded guitar solo or had someone backstage actually playing. He was all over the place and not strumming properly, but the guitar still sounded perfect. He lazily rapped about 3 songs and went off stage. Keep in mind this was a huge, awesome music festival in his hometown where he was a headliner. He didn't even talk to the audience. People booed. It was bad. God, I was there. It was beyond terrible. But one of my favorite things ever was him giving a very inspirational speech about your rights and voting. This was around the 2008 elections, and then immediately breaking into money weed. Blood on the dance floor. Saw them at Warped Tour. Wanted to see what the deal was. It was just a totally uncomfortable experience all round. It wasn't just bad, it was just an all-round awkward and creepy performance. Normally, I preach just because you don't like it doesn't make it bad, but I can't understand how you can enjoy that. I saw Marilyn Manson during the Antichrist Superstar Tour, and that was the biggest musical disappointment I've ever had. He came on 90 minutes late, played 2 songs, and 30 seconds into the 3rd song he started knocking over microphones, destroying the stage, and then he left. Buckcherry, believe me, I had low expectations to begin with. The last Counting Crows concert I went to had him, though the audience was there to listen to him be about his disaster of a relationship. Not the best concert for my first date with the young woman who it took me almost 2 weeks to ask out. If you're at a Counting Crows concert, you probably are there to hear Adam be about his relationships. When the Butthole Surfers projected videos of dong surgery onto themselves and hooked up with their lead dancer on stage. No, that might have been the best. Fergie, it was just awful. Any performance I've ever heard of the Black Eyed Peas live is pretty bad. I imagine Fergie alone would be even worse. I saw Smash Mouth live. I haven't seen a lot of live performances, but these guys just weren't very good. It probably didn't help the acoustics that we were in the hangar bay of an aircraft carrier off the coast of Guam, but it sounded terrible. You haven't heard Smash Mouth till you've heard them at a swamp venue. Highly recommended. Dragon Force, they all sounded like they were playing different songs. They play drunk more than sober. Saw Bob Dylan a few years ago and it was painful. Could not even distinguish which song he was singing half the time. I saw him at a festival in '97. He still kinda had it then, although the voice was pretty raw. I heard lately that not only does he not sound the same, but he arranges his songs differently to the point that they're unrecognizable. The Rolling Stones in the early 80s, at a stadium in Buffalo, NY. Best overheard comment: does Jagger even know the words? Amy Winehouse, at Bestival a few years back. It was raining. She was the headline on the Saturday night. She turned up 45 minutes late and mumbled her way through the set, clearly confused or troubled or something. What a wasted talent. I saw Amy at Virgin Fest on my 21st birthday. She looked absolutely frightened to even be on the stage. It made me so sad. When I was 12, I went to see Dogster, featuring Keanu Reeves on bass. Guess who? I was really young and thought I was seeing The Who. You guessed wrong. I don't know who it was, but some guy with a laptop opened for Phantomas. He literally set up a table with his computer, plugged it in and sat down. Some electronic wire music started playing and he just sat there. He could have just literally hit play and Winamp, then continued his game of Minesweeper and no one would have known. I saw Snoop Dogg in a small venue as DJ Snoopadelic. The place was packed and people were going nuts over Snoop. Good vibes all around. Snoop Dogg's performance was the worst I've ever seen or could have imagined. I think that he literally had iTunes open on his computer and was just clicking new songs at random while he smoked blunts. There was no mixing whatsoever and the song that was playing would just cut off at a random point and a diff song would start. Fun night, but Snoop Dogg didn't deserve a sold out venue worth of people's money to play iTunes on random. Pharrell Williams. I'm not much into pop or hip hop, but I've always respected Pharrell as he seems like a pretty down to earth guy and quite intelligent. Paid $79 for a ticket. 18 minutes in he says to the crowd, "Now Perth, I know I'm running over time." I thought he was just being funny. Nope. He performed for 23 minutes. Yes, he was the main act. It was a Pharrell concert. To make it worse, he didn't even finish one song. Rather just did a medley of songs he somehow related to. He performed Happy twice, still didn't finish it either time, and boasted to the crowd that he only writes Grammy-nominated songs. Oh, and forgot that he brought girls from the crowd on stage and started grind dancing with them. Pretty certain he was almost sent to prison because these girls were obviously at a questionable age. Severely disappointed. The sad thing was that girls were running out screaming it was the best thing they'd ever seen. Kids, you just got ripped the frick off. The crappy Beatles. They sucked. Not a band, but I saw Iggy Azalea for my school's homecoming concert. Walk the Moon opened for her, and they were really good. Then Iggy came out and it was an hour of her crappy rapping and shaking her butt which got boring. Then she played her 2 popular songs which was alright, but still she was overall terrible. Easily Sublime. I saw Sublime in 1995 at Cal State San Bernardino. I had seen them previously at Skafest 1994 in Colton and now the puppy that roamed around stage was full grown. They came out and got 1/4 of the way through an unidentifiable song before it became so bad they had to stop. They stopped and restarted many times that night. CSSB is not an awesome place for a show and the crowd began booing and leaving. They crashed their way through what might be considered a song before turning on the house lights and trying to play with the lights on. It didn't help. It was like what 12-year-olds that don't know how to play an instrument pretend to be rock stars for 20 minutes. It was actually so bad I felt depressed from being there. I had heard such great things about this band I had seen on the 3rd stage at a show a year before. That wasn't even a show. I'd prefer to have Gigi Allen throw his crap at me than watch them fail at everything they tried. H will do that to you. Many moons ago, I and every human being in Toronto went to SARStock, this massive rock show benefit that was put on while the city was languishing under a slight epidemic. Major headliners were the Guess Who, Rush, AC/DC and the Rolling Stones. I was wandering around the edge of the mega pit, stoned and holding a hot dog, when Rush came on, and I just stood where I was and got entranced. They were unbelievable, and then AC/DC popped up and they just had the entire city in the palms of their hands. Massive, tribal, transcendental experience. And then the Rolling Stones. Not so great. Keith was fricked up beyond all hope. Savagely fricked up beyond the baseline Keith Richards level of fricked up, and it absolutely told in his playing. This, in turn, peed Mick right the frick off, and it was a stage full of hostility, insults, and discordant semi-musical noises. And at that time, in that place, after AC/DC had ruined concerts for 500,000 people with one of the best performances displayed in this city, it was just not good, not working, not anything. If you go to a music festival and can honestly say that Justin Timberlake put on a better show than the Rolling Stones, something is wrong with the world. In 2008 we were visiting my sister in a SoCal and there was a music festival featuring Alice in Chains, Tool, and Linkin Park. If you're a fan of Linkin Park, stop here. So when you arrive you are assaulted with stickers and flyers for some band you've never heard of. Whatever. Show gets started and everything is groovy. Alice in Chains were amazing. Linkin Park are playing and Tool on next. I am dying to see Tool and can't wait for LP to leave. But wait, there's more. Turns out after LP set the band we'd never heard of, the one with the stickers and flyers, is Chester Bennington Linkin Park singers, indie rock side project. And even though no one paid to see them, the entire festival gets to see them play a set. When we thought we were going to see Tool, they were booed. The band was bad and they should feel bad. Tool ripped. Well, it was very frustrating when Morrissey walked off stage mid-set because barbecue fumes from across the festival grounds were corrupting his nostrils. Come on, pal, I'm a vegetarian too, but I managed to stick around. But the one that made me sad was Siouxsie and the Banshees. Seen them twice. Twice they were awful. One time, Siouxsie sounded hammered, couldn't hold a tune or anything. The other, she sounded okay but her band, the arrangements, or something was just way off. I was really sad because I hadn't realized that it was possible to make Cities of Dust into a boring song. There may have been worse, but those are the two that stand out the most. Catch Morrissey in the wrong mood and you'll get a petulant donghead who will look for absolutely any excuse to walk off stage. Catch him in the right mood and the man freaking kills it live. Old ass Morrissey is still one of the best concerts I've ever been to. CeeLo Green. There was a spot on the stage that made some static in his mic. Instead of trying to shrug it off or avoid that spot, he instead stopped the show to be about it, and then continued for about 30 minutes just scoffing and cursing under his breath. Broken side. If you value your hearing, for the love of God don't look them up. I was 16 and into the crappy screamo music, and they were playing at Warped Tour the same year my favorite band was playing. Black Veil Brides was horrible. I was an idiot. We've all been through a crappy phase in our life. Not a band, but Tiesto. I saw him at Tomorrow World and he wasn't very good. He would build up to a drop, but instead of playing the drop, he would start a new song. It was kind of funny though, because everyone had their hands in the air ready to go wild, but then the new song would come on. The look on everyone's faces was hysterical. I used to tend bar in a punk club. It had no cover and the bands were paid in beer. The absolute worst was some band from Maryland. It was like they hadn't even practiced. They weren't even playing the same song. After restarting the song 4 times they gave up and left. Also, believe it or not, the White Stripes. The venue was terrible and the acoustics were crap. As a result, they played all their songs double time just to get it over with. It was so disappointing. Oh, another. The Kills. Suckers showed up with boombox instead of a band and literally hit play before every song for the backing music. I saw Macklemore live at a festival and he would not stop droning on about peace and equality. I mean, yeah, I believe in those things, but I am here to listen to music. Shut up and play the peeing on clothes song. You have been visited by the romantic doggo. Comment love is magic so you never fall in the friend zone. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.